reason for this particular talk is that a fatwa has been issued by the mullahs in Iran to kill Americans, and they will do that. There are just Hezbollah. There are 30,000 Hezbollah that came in across the border. Many of them were from that training camp above Venezuela that we just shut down. So Hezbollah has had a pipeline into the United States for probably 30 years. And unfortunately, under Biden, thousands and thousands of them got in. And that's just Hezbollah. That's not even the regular Iranian cells. And the Communist Chinese Party got in 34 to 50,000 across the Texas border. So there's lots of foreign agents here that are about to create some mayhem. So I'm here to warn the Christians, because the softest target in the United States is Christian churches. Think about it. And these people will kill Christians in their churches. They've done it for 14 centuries. There's no reason to think that they're going to stop that historical precedent. In the conflict in the Middle East right now, they're raining down missiles and drones on their fellow Muslims in hotels, and they're hitting embassies. So they're capable of just about anything. And so it's time to wake up, and all you soft Christians out there, the ones that believe in tolerance and everybody's great and everybody's getting into heaven, nobody goes to hell, just not true. And so you need to wake up and get armed. Any of your church security committees, be on high alert. Make sure you have somebody stationed at the door that identifies who's coming in. Everything happens out in the parking lots, so make sure you have somebody or a number of people, if it's one of those giant Protestant mega churches, out in the parking lot to identify the threat long before it gets near any of your congregants. I have some things to recommend in my Substack. Get my notes here. I have civilian response to an active shooter. Civilian response to an active shooter. And it's really good exercise. Very simple. It's one you can run with your security team. Another is a Christian church emergency response plan. And I also have church emergency response plan. And both of those are separate Substacks. I know they're titled close, but they are both vital. Excuse me. And actually, I have a fourth one called Church Civil Defense. So if you go to my Substack, there's a search. Looks like a magnifying glass. So you just type that. You just select that and then type in church, and then those four will come up. And I also have another resource to highly recommend, and that is Christian Warrior Training. Christian Warrior Training. It's a wonderful SWAT guy that spent years around crime in California, and he's very familiar with foreign and domestic terrorists. He's a SWAT guy. So the wonderful thing is he has this Christian Warrior Training website, lots of free videos, lots of free training. And if you go there, you'll see what I mean. So it's Christian Warrior Training. And he also has a YouTube site called Christian Warrior. Now, Communist Chinese Party has a lot of influence on YouTube, unfortunately. And so they've been taking down his videos. Why? Because he's trying to protect Christians, right? So, and also X took him down. But I explained to him that lots of Communist Chinese Party, 50-cent army, PLA guys, thousands of them monitor our social media 24/7. And so usually it's just the Chinese bot that complains about some word that he has in there. And then if you actually, when you get the warning from X, you just respond to it and say you want it reviewed. And if you get it reviewed, they'll usually upload you again. That's happened to me because civil defense, you have words, that unfortunately trigger some of these reviews. But that's an aside. Again, if you go to my Substack, American Tactical Civil Defense, there is civilian response to an active shooter. There is Christian church emergency response plan. There is church emergency response plan, and there is church civil defense. So lots of good material there. I was on a team at a church when churches were being attacked. The Archdiocese of Baltimore wanted a response plan. So I was put together with a team of a Secret Service guy, a cop, firefighter, nurse, an intelligence guy. It went on and on. It was a good group. And so we met for 3 years. And that emergency response plan you see on my Substack as a result of that effort. Typical bureaucracy. It was supposed to be 5 parishes that put this together, and then they were going to come up with a hybrid plan. Unfortunately, we were the only parish that saw it through for 3 years and created the plan. And God only knows it got buried in the bureaucracy because, unfortunately, the hierarchy of the church, at least my Catholic church, they don't think much about security. It's just not in their wheelhouse. So it's up to us as fathers to make sure that our wives and children are protected in church. And again, that starts in the parking lot. Keep an eye on the parking lot. The great thing about this guy who does the Christian training, as he explains, you need to decide if you're a high threat church, a medium, moderate threat church, or a low threat church. And high threat, you need to take certain measures to protect yourself. And that includes having a security team, cameras outside, and identifying the risk in the parking lot before it comes into the church and people get killed. Now, keep in mind that the jihadis obviously have Christian churches in their sights because it does everything that they've wanted to achieve. I did a lot of work on them in the early 20s after 9/11. I had to study their Quran, go to their websites, and they were very clear when they said, "We have been at war with you for 1,400 years. You Christians forgot. We did not." And so these strikes are coming. And so uh, we shouldn't be surprised when they do happen. They may use communist agents inside this country to carry it out because the communists in this country hate this country as much as the jihadis do. It's funny. I was talking to a friend that spent a lot of time overseas, and he said, "Gee, we were always told that we were fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq so that we wouldn't have to fight at home. And here we are. The fighting is at home." That said, not anything to obsess over, not anything to completely change your life. No pastor, priest should ever close their church. That was satanic during the pandemic when they closed the churches. They left the liquor stores open, but they closed the churches, which was just hard. So again, these attacks, now that the mullahs have issued the fatwa, if you understand the Quran, if you understand Islamic scholars and what they write about the Quran, these attacks are coming because the Ummah, they're like the Borg. Once they make a decision, there's no independent thinking. People have to do what they're told. So prepare your churches, harden your churches. If you talk to people in your church and they're liberal or communist and they say, "Oh, that's nonsense," you're paranoid, it's conspiracy theory. Christ told us to shake off the dust when we run into people like that. So keep that in mind. And I'll end this with a beautiful view of my lovely neighborhood out here in, it's really Hedgesville, but they call it Martinsburg, West Virginia. So just some beauty of nature to start your day. Thank you, all of you. And remember, lift high the cross.